What's up, your boy Vaughn, another reaction, and today's video we have Lucky is Hotter Than Ever by I Used to Be Paid. Make sure to come subscribe, listen to it. Yeah, this nigga Lucky sold 51K first week, and he's ninth on the Billboard for with his album.
Lucki dropped his newest album, Drugs Are Bad, on May 15th this past Friday. And initially, this looked like a bit of unfortunate timing for Lucki, as another artist who's pretty well known by the name of Aubrey Drake Graham decided to drop his album on the exact same day. And when I saw this announcement from Drake, I thought to myself, oh, okay, well, Lucky's probably going to move his album release date to another day, maybe a few weeks later, maybe a few weeks earlier. And this wasn't a unique thought. A lot of people had this thought as well, because whenever Drake drops an album on a release date, that becomes Drake's date. It's really that simple. And we've seen throughout the history of music, a lot of artists move their release date to avoid these massive superstars
Yeah,
dropping on the same day as them, especially when it's probably the most popular rapper of all time in terms of just pure numbers. But Lucki didn't do that. He didn't budge one bit. And there were even DMs between him and Drake talking to each other, hyping each other up, saying, hey, May 15th is our date. Let's go get it. Let's go have all this success, all this stuff, really hunky dory things. But then May 15th comes around and Drake drops 3 albums. He doesn't just drop one, he drops 3 albums. And there just isn't enough rap media narratives to go around when somebody like Drake drops 3 albums. But Lucki showed us that the internet era is a bit different. We don't have that monoculture feeling that we had in the 2010s and the 2000s, when these big names were kind of scurrying out of the way of these huge superstars. The internet lets people listen to whatever they want to listen to. Not everyone is focused on the huge superstar dropping their music. Lucki fans are going to listen to Lucki long before they listen to anything going on in the Aubrey Drake Graham world. And that's exactly what they did. And this looks like it's on pace to be his biggest album debut in terms of first week numbers ever. Now, I'm recording this before the official numbers come out, but it's rumored to be anywhere between 55K and 60K first week. Now, those numbers might not immediately jump off the page to you, because if you look back 5-6 years ago in the pandemic era, everyone was having a lot of success in the music game, and 60K first week, that wasn't really impressive. That was all right. That was solid.
got them pandemic numbers. Lil Baby was selling 100K, Young Boy was selling 100K. Like first week, like them pandemic numbers was insane. Niggas was in the crib listening to music, like.
It was like the barrier of like, all right, now you didn't flop, but you got to do a little bit better next time. But if you look nowadays and look at the numbers that people are putting up, 60K is actually a boatload in this current landscape, especially for somebody like Lucki, who has kind of had this reputation online for years now of somebody who, yes, is very good and also is pretty influential, but at the same time never has had that popularity that people think he deserves. He's the guy that everyone's like, man, that guy just deserves an award. He just deserves
Yeah, kind of the same with Doo-Wop King.
something, because he's so good and he's so influential and he's so different, but he just never has gotten the credit he deserves until now. And his growth in terms of popularity with his numbers hasn't been exponential at really any point of his career. Lucki has just been slowly chipping away, just chipping away, just chipping away, just chipping away, and growing to where he is today. He hasn't had moments like Yeet from 2021 to 2022 where he's just out of here, just going crazy all over everything. His numbers are up. He's hitting the charts in the
Because he getting this big just now, and he 29 years old.
top 20, top 30. He hasn't had moments like that. Or even a Ken Carson, who has had some great moments of exponential growth, or somebody like Don Tolliver, who has started in terms of like internet popularity around the same time as Lucki, but has had that exponential growth over the last few years or so. Right now, Lucki's album is on pace to outsell or sell around the same numbers as Yeat's last album. It's on pace to outsell Make America Slime Again by NBA Youngboy. Remember that huge album that had that huge tour behind it? That was this big deal for Youngboy. That album. And he's also on pace to outsell Lil Baby's last project, The Leaks. Now, yes, that was a mixtape, but still, outselling Lil Baby in anything for Lucki is super impressive.
He ain't outsell Young Thug. Young Thug, Lucky sold 51K. That's the official numbers, and Thug sold 52K. That's 1K more. You know what I'm saying?
To compare Lucki to anything, I would say seeing this growth from Lucki in terms of popularity is kind of like going to the gym, your local gym, and you see like a maybe like a 14-year-old kid in there. He's always in there in the gym. Every day you go, you see him there, and he's just this little scrawny kid. And then a few years go by, and the kid's now 17, and you see him and you look at him and you're like, dang, like, hold on. He's like 220 pounds now, and he plays football at the local high school, and he's this huge jack dude. And you're like, when did this happen? But he's been there at the gym the exact same time you've been at the gym for the last 3 years now. You just
Yeah.
didn't really see it. You just weren't really looking for the growth, but it's been there this entire time. Lucky and his progress is another symptom of this new era of rap that I've been speaking about for the last few years or so now.
They was talk about Lucky performing lazy. Yeah, you think his big fat ass about to be jumping up and down like Osama son and yelling?
Where mainstream success really just doesn't matter that much in terms of like hit songs or standout songs where you just shoot up, you're everywhere. It really comes down to your fan base. And Lucky is one of those artists like an NBA Youngboy, like a Playboy Cardi, like a Rod Wave, where they have a dedicated fan base. Lucky's fans have been so diehard, committed to this dude for years now, and it's just slowly but surely been growing ever since. He gives his fans what they want. He feeds the people that feed him. He's not out here trying to make these hits and be on this person's song, be on that person's song. Yes, he does features, but he stays within the world that he exists in, and his people reward him with that. He's not a guy that if you're not hearing a hit from him, you don't hear from him. Not to be disrespectful, but I think that somebody like DaBaby, where if you don't hear a hit from him, you just don't hear from him whatsoever. DaBaby finally has gotten a hit this year, and you've been seeing him around a
Oh
bit
yeah, that TikTok. He got the world in their hands. Well, that's his first hit in about 5 years.
more. But in those times where it's kind of quiet for him in terms of numeric success, you don't see DaBaby at all. You don't hear about DaBaby. Nobody's talking about DaBaby. But with Lucky, that's not the case. Lucky might not ever have those chart topping hits, top 10, top 5, all that stuff. He's not going to get a pop feature from Dua Lipa or something like that. But his fans are dedicated to him, and he gives the fans what they want. He has people that are diehard Lucky fans. You don't have diehard DaBaby fans or some of these other artists who really kind of need that charting success in order to be relevant. The circle around Lucky just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as more fans come in, and it becomes something that's kind of like more of a team fan base rather than it is like just being a fan of an artist. It's like being a fan of the Green Bay Packers. If you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers as a kid, you're probably going to grow up as one and die as one. And now it's not that extreme when it comes to like being a fan of Lucky, but you get what I'm
Uh,
saying. There's a level of
I'm
commitment
always fuck with Lucky. You know what I'm saying? The nigga good dude. You know what I'm saying? He don't got no allegations.
there. There's a level of diehard fandom there that is necessary to succeed in this modern version of the music game. We
I
look
see you a Cardinals fan. I see that poster back. Oh yeah, your team suck. The Cardinals and they get the Cardinals a hard ass schedule.
at somebody like Don Tolliver. I know I spoke about him having bits of exponential growth, but for the most part, he's been one of those guys with a diehard fan base. I think he only has like one or two top 10 Billboard Hot 100 hits, but you see his album numbers from this year and they're crazy. I think that Lucky is kind of on pace to be somebody like that. Maybe not have that level of success, but he's getting extremely hot right now solely off the back of his fans. In terms of the music on this album, I do like this album. I think it is kind of funny though that the more success that we see for Lucky numerically, you also start to see the people who have been fans of Lucky since like 2018, like
Like
a
niggas be saying Lucky saved their life. It's Lucky saved my life.
really long time. The really OG fans, they get kind of mad at his new music. They don't like his new music. They say it's trash. Oh, this is nowhere near peak Lucky, all this stuff. And maybe that's just
And it's want that sad shit like ain't fries.
their opinion, but I also think some of this comes from the fact that they're no longer special for listening to Lucky. It's no longer an underground thing. It's no longer a if you know type of thing. And I think that not feeling special anymore for them kind of makes them not like the current music. But I'll say this. All of Lucky's current music sounds a hell of a lot better when you don't have an old Lucky fan in your ear telling you that it sucks. But when it comes to this album, I don't like it more than Gemini, which might be a hot take because I don't know, people are kind of mixed on that album, but I do like this album a lot. Some of the standout tracks to me are Super Tune, All Way to Space, No Stars in the Maybach, and Stupid Prizes. In terms of where Lucky really shines on this album is, I think, his rapping ability. I think that in terms of his technical rapping prowess, he shows a lot of steps of growth on this
Like,
product.
gang, stick with the old Lucky. Then Lucky got so much old music. Go stick with the go. Listen to fucking Flaw. I don't forgot the name. Go listen to all this shit, gang.
Project. He's really rapping on here on some of these songs. He's really hitting a different flow that we haven't really heard from Lucky in terms of like the proficiency with it. And he's definitely getting into some of these pockets on these songs where he's just sliding. Like that's really the only way to describe it. I think there was a lot better punchline work in this album as well. And then on the other side of things, I think that the production is pretty good here too to kind of round things off. It is kind of funny that one of the most drug related artists in rap dropped an album titled Drugs Are Bad, but I think that this is a little bit of a step in Lucky kind of being a bit more self aware and moving to a place of like reflection in his life, which he's always been there. But in terms of like the drug use, I think that rather than just talking about it being a bad thing, I think that we see, even in his real life, he's kind of taking more steps to be a bit more um let's just say healthy. So him being self-aware with this album title and some of the lyrics through here, which are, you know, your typical Lucky songs, heartbreak, sadness, drug abuse,
That boy, he still be hitting that vape though. That boy addicted to that Nick.
the mixing of the drug abuse and the relationships and that not being a good thing. Holy, that sounded crazy. But yeah, I just hope that this is a sign of a greater step forward for Lucky because he does seem to be doing a bit better nowadays. But who am I to know, right? Like we're just fans. One of my first videos on YouTube, especially one of the first ones that I was actually kind of proud of, was me talking about Lucky and his music and just feeling a sense of guilt when I listen to it. And that still is there for me because Lucky is such an amazing artist, if you were to ask me. But hearing somebody who you grow in admiration for through their music constantly rap about drugs and them destroying their life and the sadness that they feel, the despair, the relationship issues, like it's kind of hard to listen to. And in a way, at times it felt like I was enabling it because by, you know, listening to the music, enjoying these drug filled lyrics, I should say, I'm kind of supporting it and I'm kind of supporting what he's doing by listening to it. Obviously, if you were to ask me, no, I don't want you to do drugs. But if I'm listening to the music and giving it attention and giving it all of the, you know, the things that he would want, and he's still living that lifestyle, in a way, I am kind of enabling it. So I still struggle with that a bit when it comes to listening to somebody like Lucky, but it does feel like he's doing better as of recently. So hopefully that's a pattern that he can continue in the future. And this isn't someone who's going to, you know, possibly lose their life at a young age due to this addiction. But it's nice to see somebody like Lucky, who deserves a ton of success, just slowly chipping away and making progress over the years. It's not coming overnight, it's not exponential, it's not super fast, but he's building his fan base one step after the other and just growing from there. And it's really nice to see. And it gives you a bit of a floor as somebody who is an artist and depends on fans liking you. When you have that dedicated fan base, you can kind of fall back a little bit and still have success. Whereas if you're riding high off the machine and the industry, who knows what'll happen to you? Look at YK Osiris. But yeah, I'm really happy for Lucky. He's doing great. He's having the best numbers of his career. And I hope that this continues because he's an amazing artist.
But that's it. Make sure to come subscribe and all deuces. Yeah, to all the fucking old, all the niggas that missed the old Lucky game. Lucky got a family now. Him and Alexis, they got kids together. They're a family now. The nigga way happier. He way off. He better off. Like nigga happy, bro. That's it.